Everybody, this is Jimmy, and this is another episode of the Top 5 podcast where we reveal to you guys who the top 5 is in certain areas of voting. Sorry it's taking a little bit longer for us to get this out, but nonetheless, here are the top 5 results for your favorite dark rides. Coming in at number 5 was Indiana Jones at Disneyland. This ride, when it came out, was so intricate and so immersive, and it still is, really. I mean, you have the queue itself where you walk into the Temple of the Forbidden Eye, and when it first came out and it was, over a couple hour wait, you had those little cards and you can translate the hieroglyphics on the wall and play with the guy in the well and the rope and stuff to pass your time. And then you got on the actual ride vehicles, which were so different than anything that I had ever been on. I remember when I was a kid, but the sets, the giant snakes, the spike room, the bug room, that rickety bridge, everything about Indiana Jones, man, was so, and still is, so much fun to ride that ride. It came in at number 5 with, like I said, 8% of the vote. Number 9, just a little bit in front of it, is Tower of Terror at Hollywood Studios. As you know by now, Tower of Terror California Adventure has been replaced for Guardians of the Galaxy, and that is the cornerstone of what will be Marvel Land. But this ride at Hollywood Studios, I hope they never change it, and I don't think they will anytime soon, at least. The Tower of Terror Hollywood Studios is so much better than the one was in California because your freaking elevator car moves out of the shaft and into the Twilight Zone, into another shaft before, I need to stop saying shaft, but before it starts dropping. It was a dark ride with a drop, and I love rides that drop. My wife is not a fan, so I'm usually doing them alone. But even with that, most dropping rides are pretty straightforward. It's you get in the car, you go to the top, and then you drop. Or if you go to like a Boardwalk or Carnival or something, usually they'll have ones that they may shoot you to the top and then you kind of drop your way down. This Tower of Terror, again, the immersiveness is on the level of Indiana Jones, where you're walking through this and you're seeing a Twilight Zone video about how and why the hotel is haunted, and then you get into the service elevator, and your little trip in the service elevator goes directly to the Twilight Zone, and yeah, man, it is an awesome experience over at Hollywood Studios. I can't say again, I don't think that they're going to change it, and hopefully they never even contemplate changing it, because it is a awesome ride. It comes in at number 4, just above Indiana Jones. Number 3, we go back to Disneyland, and with 13% of the vote, we had Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, for the same reasons why I just said that not the Haunted Mansion, spoiler alert, but for the same reasons why I thought that Tower of Terror is better Hollywood Studios in Florida, a lot of that same kind of stuff is why Pirates of the Caribbean is so much better in Disneyland. Now, Pirates of the Caribbean in Florida isn't necessarily a bad ride. It's always worth doing, but the one in Disneyland, comparing it to Florida, it's pretty much superior in every way. The drops are better, the cabins are better, the set design is better. I just think it is a better immersive dark ride. And now this ride, Pirates of the Caribbean, has gone through its iterations of tweaks. You had the additions of Jack and Barbossa in auto animatronic form, and then you also had the smoke in the cavern with Davy Jones. At one point, Blackbeard was there for like two months or so when that movie came out, and then they immediately reverted back to Davy Jones just because Davy Jones is cooler. I'm honestly surprised that Shanghai's Pirates of the Caribbean didn't do better in this vote. But I think a lot of traditionalists, this was the highest top 5 vote we had, and a lot of those traditionalists, wanted the Disneyland Pirates of the Caribbean to be in here, and it is with 13% of the vote. Again, Florida's and any other Pirates of the Caribbean is not bad, and I'm sure Shanghai's is phenomenal, but that traditional sense, that classic Pirates of the Caribbean feel, I mean, it's hard to top the Disneyland version. Coming at number 2, we go to Universal Studios, and with 16% of the vote, we have Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. And this ride, I don't think there will be anything like this ride until Star Wars Land, and now maybe Marvel Land opens from Disney. This ride, when it first came out, was just completely to the next level. The fact that you had Hogsmeade that you walk through to get to this ride, and then you're walking through the actual Hogwarts castle, like, forget about it, man. To get on this thing, it was on the level of any Disney attraction, at least in the United States, and probably better than them, honestly. Then you get on this ride, and this ride is 50% you're looking at a screen, but then they have auto animatronics that you move through. It was like Star Tours meets Indiana Jones. Any Harry Potter fan will love Forbidden Journey. I have not been out to Florida since they opened Gringotts. I'm hoping to get out there, sooner than later to experience all that. I don't know, if Gringotts, I haven't heard a lot of people say the Gringotts ride is better than Forbidden Journey. I've heard them say that it's better for, family or younger kids. But Forbidden Journey did way better than Gringotts. And I think rightfully so. This ride is the next step in immersive theme park attractions, and Disney is obviously following Universal's lead with that ride with Star Wars Land. I think it'll be something very similar to Harry Potter. And number 1 with 27% of the vote. Over 10% more from 1 and 2, the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. This thing is my all-time favorite ride. I love spooky stuff. If you're listening to this on the Horrific Network, you can kind of understand that. But the Haunted Mansion, man, I was terrified of this ride as a child, except for the ballroom scene, and then I would close my eyes for the rest of it. And maybe it is that fear that has led to such admiration for this ride. But the fact that you can, go inside a Haunted Mansion, and they, the ghost host talks to you, and you walk through chambers, and the whole tropes of a haunted house with the portraits changing, and then you get your doom buggy and the swinging wake, and now the Hatbox Ghost is back, and Constance the bride, and you go into a graveyard, and the ghosts are partying, and the singing busts, the hitchhiking goats. That whole attraction is just so good, man. And the stories about how Walt wanted it to look like a pristine house, and the famous "we'll take care of the outside and let the ghosts take care of the inside" line, versus the tale between the two Imagineers, Mark and Wally, one wanting them to have it be more of a happy ride, and then one wanted it to be a dark ride, and very much that comes through, I would say, as a writer, with the first half being very creepy-esque, and then evolving into a party in the graveyard, and ultimately just a great ride. So there it is, man. Your top 5. Number 5, Indiana Jones. Number 4, Tower of Terror. Number 3, Pirates of the Caribbean. Number 2, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. And number 1, Dark Ride, as voted by you, the fans, the listeners, our supporters, and we thank you very much for doing that, is The Haunted Mansion. So stay tuned for another top 5 coming out sooner than what this one did from the last one. Thank you very much. Have a good day, everyone.